The GallowgateShots podcast is sponsored by Tyre Spot, the North East's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the GallowgateShots YouTube and podcast channel. We are back with another match preview. We're going to leave the Premier League behind us and focus on the EFL Cup. I'm Scott, I'm your host for this one, and this week I'm joined by Kris, Nichol and Andy. Boys, let's jump straight into this one because we did do a Brentford preview not so long ago and that game didn't go too well, so we're hoping for a bit of a better result this time. It is the EFL Cup Quarter Final. It's on Wednesday, the 18th of December. It's a 7:45 kickoff under the lights at St James's Park. And for everyone who didn't get through the ballots or haven't got a ticket, I think it's on Sky Sports Plus, which is like the red button or whatever that is. I don't know. It's something, I don't have it where I'm from. So there you go. Good luck finding it if you haven't got it on there. Couple of stats, commentator stats as always, not much because it's the Cup. There isn't much going around. But after beating Chelsea 2-0 at St James's Park in the last round to progress into the last 8, this is the third straight season Newcastle progressing into the quarterfinals of the competition. We're getting regulars at this. We're getting good at this competition. We just need to get to that last piece of the puzzle, boys. Maybe this is our season. Let's see. And the last time the pair played each other in this round of the competition, the then championship side Brentford were the victors in a 1-0 victory back in December 2020. I believe it was a COVID game as well. There was no one in the ground, or there was very few people in the ground. Prior to that, the pair have only met once in the competition back in the 2001 to 2002 season. That was in the second round when Newcastle were 4-1 winners after extra time. That's all I've got on this. Like I say, we've only played each other twice, so there isn't much going around when it comes to stats. For this, there's not much history in this competition. Obviously, we all know what happened in the Premier League, and Brentford got their first, I think that was their first victory against us in the Premier League. Was it 11 days ago, time of recording? We're recording this on Sunday. One thing I want to touch on before we get started into the two teams, and I'll come to you on this one, Andy, first. Brentford are playing tonight. It's Sunday when we're recording this, like I mentioned, at 7 o'clock. They've got Chelsea. Does that give us any form of, God, I can't even speak. Does that give us any form of advantage? Try saying that 10 times when you're drunk. With them playing at such a late time, with then a short turnaround, obviously, then they've got the trip up to St James's. Does that play into our hands a little bit, or does it not really matter in this day and age?
Well, on the face of it, yeah, because they've got one less day to prepare. We've obviously seen with Eddie Howe, he's a lot better when he's got a full run to prepare for a game. I mean, it's not exactly like the other side of the world for Brentford, is it? They could all just walk there, really, if they wanted to. Not far at all. But yeah, you've got to take every advantage you can at this point in the season, this point in the competition. That extra day could be the difference between scoring from a set piece or not. Be interesting to see how they get on against Chelsea. Hopefully we don't get any comments this time saying, you idiots, you didn't know what was going to happen in the future, like we did with Wilson's injury. But I think that'll be a good game. Obviously, we've seen with Brentford, they're a bit of a team of two halves. At home, they're absolute beasts. They beat everyone, score loads of goals, and away from home, they're just a complete opposite end of the spectrum. So with them going to Chelsea, hopefully we see that it's still the sort of the Jekyll to the Hyde for Brentford. Yeah. And then when they come to our place, they're hopefully on a bit of a slump. But yeah, we'll take every advantage we can, because it's, as much as the Leicester game was a nice positive, they were awful. So I think we just got to keep the momentum going now.
Just to throw it in, Scott, as well, just on the back of that, just with there being a talking point about an advantage, I think maybe in hindsight, maybe previously, I would have probably agreed that we may have a bit of advantage, but because we only played them a week ago, really, a week and a half ago, that they've probably already done all the sort of the legwork that it comes to prep them for that team. They probably don't have to do too much. Obviously,
the prep work was basically kick it long, and share all the it.
Just score. Just try, you'll probably score. But I think, yes, in normal circumstances, it would have being huge because they wouldn't have much prep time for obviously finish and kick off what's going to be later on tonight on a Sunday night. Traveling on, you would expect on the early Wednesday morning, late Tuesday night, possibly. They'll probably get the day off tomorrow or Monday, so you're not going to get much prep time. Hence why I think just playing us recently, it doesn't really affect things massively. Like,
yeah, obviously their away form, as Andy's touched on, Kris, isn't great. So we're hoping that is another advantage to us. And probably one big advantage, which I don't think a lot of people have realised, or there was some comments on the match reaction. Joe Linton obviously picked up a yellow card at the weekend, but he's eligible for this one because it's a yellow card suspension, not a red card suspension. So it doesn't carry over to the League Cup. It carries over to the Premier League. So he is eligible to face Brentford midweek. So that's an advantage. You've got to take that because we can use him in the midfield or wherever Eddie Howe wants to play him against Brentford, and then rest him against. Well, not rest him. He's suspended, but he can take a sideline against Ipswich.
And I think he probably needs that rest as well, Scott. I think Joe Linton's featured in every game so far this season. I think he's the one that's been there throughout. So I think he needs that rest. Obviously, it's a forced rest, but he definitely needs it. Like,
in every position as well.
Yeah,
all over the place.
We saw it at the game against Leicester, Nichol. Eddie Howe made some changes, and you could see there were obviously tactical changes. We were 3-0, 4-0 up at the time of those changes, and you can only assume they were with one eye on the game midweek. He was taking Isak off with 15, 20 minutes to go and bringing on Asula when in the past he's lucky to get 30 seconds. So he's obviously made those changes with this game in the back of his mind.
Yeah, like we said on the reaction yesterday, Wednesday's game's massive for our season, really, and Eddie knows that. With the pressure he's sort of been under as well, and with the league form being as inconsistent as it is, the cup is a good route for us to hopefully get back into Europe next season. And I think the scoreline yesterday on Saturday helped. Obviously, being 4-0 up and in complete control. If you can take off your best players and give them a rest ahead of Wednesday, then you do. So yeah, he did the right thing.
So we're expecting maybe a bit of a strong side from our side, Nichol, but you've taken a little look into what Brentford do in these competitions. Are we expecting any rotation? Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen in the game this evening. Like Andy said, we haven't got crystal balls. We can't see what's going on in the... Sorry, I just realized what I said there. We can't see what's going on in the future. But, do they rotate? Do they play, youngsters? Do they play maybe some of the substitutes that wouldn't maybe make the first team in the Premier League? Or do they go all out in these competitions as well?
Yeah, well, in the last round against Sheffield Wednesday, they went strong. They only changed one or two players. They only brought one youngster in at left back. Apart from that, they went full strength. And I think we all expect, even though they're playing on Sunday, they will go full strength again on Wednesday at St James's. They're pretty similar. At the moment, they're a pretty similar club to us at the moment because they're maybe not as consistent enough in the league as Andy's mentioned with their away form to get into Europe that way. So something like this for them is just as big as it is for us, really. So yeah,
they mustn't have won anything for ages as well. Like I don't know, but they must be similar to us where they've not won a proper trophy for ages.
I'm not sure.
I don't know knows more will tell us.
Maybe
they didn't win the championship. I don't think they came up via the playoffs. I think, didn't they?
Yeah. You're probably looking at. I wouldn't have thought there's. When you think of major competitions, the name doesn't scream out like the one.
Yeah.
Of recent time. I mean, I know we haven't won anything. I can't. You can't really be on one of these
glass houses.
Compare the two. I know. We can hardly take a moral high ground here. But
to be fair, they're probably not as desperate to win a cup as we are, with obviously all the new ownership and how Eddie Howe talks about it openly and how much they desperately want to win. Whereas Brentford, I think they're happy just being consistent in the league and getting these nice home days for themselves. So I think Nichol's right. I think it'll be strong teams for both. Let's just hope it's away Brentford and not home Brentford.
Yeah. When it comes to our players, Kris, is there do you think there's going to be a want for revenge for what happened a couple of weeks ago? Do you think they're going to have the bit between the teeth? And do you think there's a reaction expected from them within the team? I know we all want a reaction, but in Eddie Howe wants to reaction, but do you think the players want to?
I don't think it's necessarily going out to get revenge. At the end, it's Brentford, isn't it? I think the players won't look like, we need to get revenge against Brentford. It's not like that season. I'm going way back when Shearer had done the interview after the 5-0 win against Man United, and he said, we needed revenge for what happened previously, blah, 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 blah. Far from that. I think the players have just got, they need to have that self-respect where they need to continue with the similar sort of performances, which we've seen so sparsely really this season, and we'll only get a decent result then the follow-up game. We'll normally sting the place out like we saw against Brentford last time. It was on the back of the decent result against Liverpool, was it, if I remember right? Then obviously we'll get a decent result, a great result against Leicester, albeit like Andy said earlier that Leicester stunk the place out. But you can only play what's out in front of you. I think the players will just want to continue that. We need to start creating momentum this season, which we'll fail to do at most opportunities that have came our way. So I think it's more of a pride sort of thing with the players now. I think that the need to grow in confidence as each match day comes, and you're only going to get that by getting results and obviously progressing in the cup is what's needed. I think if we go out at this point of the cup, yes, you can look at it and say, we've done pretty well. We got so far in the cup. We beat Chelsea last game to get here. But come on, it's Brentford at home. Like we've mentioned a couple of times, Brentford's away form isn't great. So they've got to be looking at that thing, and now we'll have to progress.
Yeah. Are you worried, Nichol, that yes, it's at home, but we see sometimes with these home cup fixtures, especially being midweek, especially the time of the year it is as well, that sometimes the atmosphere isn't the same in these competitions like it is in the Premier League, because you don't get, I don't want to say you don't get the same type of crowd, but you get people in there who don't normally go to the games. You sometimes get families in there because it's a different opportunity to get tickets. Sometimes if the game doesn't start going the same way as, people would expect, that it can get a bit stale, and then that can have an effect on the field. Are you worried that may happen if Brentford's turn up like they did 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I was just thinking there how Brentford might actually play, because they're obviously, we've mentioned that they like to play end to end, and it's a bit of a basketball game when they do play. But I'm thinking they might come and frustrate us because they'll want to quiet the crowd down as much as they can. They've all played there before, so they know what it's like. So I'm thinking that might be their tactic and try and hit us on the break. As for the atmosphere, I'm hoping that's not the case. Surely, because everyone knows it's a one-off game. There has to be a result on the night. Hopefully everyone can get behind them, really. I'm not sure if they're doing a bring your scarf thing, because they normally do that for the cup matches
they do, don't they?
During the week. So yeah, and maybe hopefully War Flags have got something up their sleeve for Wednesday.
I think we'll have to be quite honest here as well, lads. The game against Leicester, the atmosphere wasn't great, mind.
No, it wasn't.
It was quite
my corner was awful.
On the telly. Yeah.
And where do you say, Annie, you leasers?
I'm under the away fans, right down the bottom.
So you're leasers. Yeah. I'm Strawberry Corn. I think, Nichol, you're the same. You're not too far from me. And the atmosphere, it hasn't been great, I think we've seen so far this season, the atmosphere only when it gets to that standard when something goes against them. We've mentioned it so many times. I think even against Leicester, the atmosphere was so poor. It really was. There's no hiding from it. So I think you're going to get exactly the same, Scott, at the cup game as what we got at the weekend. Exactly the same atmosphere. It's not been great, and I think we'll be lying as a fan base if we sat here and said, the atmosphere is great at St. James's Park. Yes, it is sometimes, but it hasn't been great recently.
I mean, Strawberry Corner was desperate to get Last Christmas going around the stadium, and just no one in our end was going for it at all. It was. I mean, where I am, the corner can be all right, but it relies on quite a few people to actually get it going. But yeah, against Leicester, it was almost like everyone was nervous before the goal. Then after the goal, there was a bit of a lift, and then it was a foregone conclusion. Then, and everyone was just going down for the pies. And
then it's just training a trading ground after that as well.
It was a bit disappointing.
Yeah. I think
maybe nobody wanted to Whamageddon themselves, and then they did anywhere in the PA. So maybe at the weekend you'll get more.
I'd already heard it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Nichol. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say maybe I think the atmosphere has been good this season when we have played the big teams. It's a bit like the players.
The players, aren't we?
The players getting up Britain.
You're right.
We just the Liverpool game. That was brilliant atmosphere. So if we can recreate something like that on Wednesday, then we'll be fine.
it's just not taking much for us at the minute to flip as a fan base, is it? It's like, I think Liverpool, the fans started well, but then the team started well alongside it. I think if we were really sloppy against Liverpool, it would have tailed off pretty quick. So I think in this game it's got to be a similar kind of Sage mentality. Crowd's got to start strong, but the team has to start strong. Otherwise, everyone's going to be sat on their hands wishing they were at home instead.
I think you need that competition as well, though, Andy. You need the competition from the other team, like we saw at Leicester. When we're completely controlling the game from start to finish, it does get quite boring to watch towards the last 15, 20 minutes of the game. Like the last 15 minutes of the game against Leicester, it's like we said, I think you mentioned it as well on the reaction, Nichol, that it just turned into so it looked like a training ground, just routine. That's what it looked like. It looked like we were keeping the ball, and Leicester were trying not trying the hardest, we weren't trying at all at times to get the ball back from where.
You're expecting the bouncy castle outside of St James's Park, like that thing they do pre-season.
Back out. It was flat, but then I think that's down to the opposition as well. If you're not going to come out and try and win the game, it affects everything.
Yeah,
it's no wonder the Etihad's got a bad reputation for atmosphere when they were just smashing everyone. It just gets boring, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'd love to be at that stage, but it's not boring very often.
No.
Well, let's talk about what we can do, because obviously we, like we've mentioned previously, we did play recently, and we all know what happened with the 4-2 defeat. What can the lads do differently on the pitch, Kris, to avoid that? There was obviously you're going to say score more goals, but is it a case of just taking more chances when they come? Is it a case of not making mistakes? Like, what is it that we can look to do to nullify Brentford? Because obviously they had our number a couple of weeks ago. We've got to learn from that. We've got to make rights from those wrongs. What was it that stood out in that Brentford game to you that you think, okay, we need to smarten up on that and change?
Defense. It was a shambles against Brentford. You can't disagree with us. It was absolutely shocking. We looked like the two centre backs in Burn and Fabian looked like they hadn't played at all together. It just everything went to shit, didn't it, in the second half against Brentford? So I think once again it goes back to going into the next fixture after a decent result and keeping up with that momentum. You need it, and I think the lads would have took huge confidence from Leicester. But you think that maybe that's the way it was so easy for against Leicester, you hope they don't get complacent on the back of that and say, oh, everything's all fixed now, it's 4-0 win. Like, we'll just go into the next game and just do exactly the same. It's not going to be that way. I think everybody will know that. I think we've gone pretty strong in the cup competition so far. I know the Chelsea game, there's a couple of changes, but not many. I think Kraft came in. I remember right, and Kelly came into that game. Tonali was back in midfield as well. So I think Eddie will probably stick with the exact same team as well. And I think hopefully they'll just continue where we left off.
Yeah. Do you agree with that, Nichol? Do you think it'll be exactly the same? Do you think maybe some changes? Do you think maybe we'll see a rotation in goal? Do you think we will see maybe a rotation in the midfield at all? Because he's been known to make a few changes in the cups, but like you said, nothing wholesale. But one or two. Obviously, we've also got the Ipswich game, which is another massive game coming up in quick succession, and then it's Villa after Ipswich on Boxing Day. Yeah.
I agree with Kris. I think it'll be the same team as yesterday in Liverpool, obviously without Nick Pope. So I think Eddie will be doing his press conference on Tuesday, and we'll probably expect them to confirm that Pope's going to be out for like the festive period, I would imagine. So I think it'll be the same team as against Leicester. The only change I could potentially see is maybe Joe Willock coming in to the midfield. But even then, I think with Joe Linton being suspended for the next league game, I think it'll be the same.
Yeah, I think that's played quite a huge part of it. To be fair, I think the likes of Joe Linton missing the Ipswich game, I think he might have possibly rotated a couple of things in midfield in that Brentford game. But I think the card's be dealt now with Joe Linton next game, so why not play him Brentford?
I mean, that's if Joe Willock's okay after that tackle at the end of the Leicester game. He seems
absolutely
okay
no need.
You see how high he went flying,
man. Well, we've got no Dasmo, as you could probably see here. So I don't know if anyone's taken the reins on Ref Watch. He did leave us some notes. But go on then, Andy. See if you can fill the boots or the sketchers for Dasmo, as I believe it is that he likes to don. Take it away.
I haven't got my Junior Magpies calendar up or me bottle of Febreze, but I'll do that for next time. Yeah, we were laughing beforehand because the way Daryl's described the referee, which is Sam Barrett, is the Yorkshire Whistler, which we said just sounds like something else entirely. But yeah, he hasn't gone as in depth as he normally has for probably my own sanity. I haven't got the VAR, but this guy's last match was the Forest Villa game, which we've just had, and I don't think there was many massive controversies in that one, I should say. He's had 11 fixtures this season, 63 yellow cards, and Daryl always says these things, and I'm just like, is that a lot? I don't know. It seems like it, but it probably isn't in 11 games. His only previous Newcastle appointment was 3-0 Premier League win over Fulham. So, again, could be a good omen, might not be. We'll see what this guy's like. I think we were saying before, we're getting a lot of these sort of B-tier referees coming through now because of the controversy surrounding a certain referee. But I don't think any of them have done horribly. I know, obviously, we mentioned about the Brentford game last time. Their keeper got a yellow card because the wind blew the ball away. So he can't be any worse than him.
It can't be, can it? Yeah. And do we get VAR in this round yet, or is that in the next round? Because I know the Carabao Cup, you don't get it until all teams can have VAR.
You're gonna have to ring Daryl for that.
We'll let Daryl put it in the comments below, mate, because you'll be there. We'll get some engagement on these videos, even if it's from our own.
I think it's from
semi-final, but so it'll be the next round, and maybe that's what it is. We should have done our research, as the comments would have said. But yes, we'll find that out, and we'll get Daryl to put it in the comments. Well, let's come to our predictions then. What we're thinking for this one. Who should I pick on first? Who should I pick on this week? Chris, seems you're not a regular at the match previews. Let's come to your prediction first. What are you going for this one?
I don't think it'll be a pleasant watch, but I think we will progress with a 2-1 win.
Nice. Andy, where are you going for this one?
I was going to say 2-1, but I'll be different. Yeah, I think similar. I think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be anything like the Brentford game we've just had, basketball game. I think it'll be really tight. But I'm fancying us just to keep another clean sheet. I think we're going to take that momentum and confidence in. I think it's a big game for Dubravka if he's going to play. We know Brentford like to pump it long, go direct. He needs to be at his best, coming out for crosses and things, and being able to dive both ways, which we know is a bit of a weakness of his. I think 1-0 win. I think it'll be a late winner.
Ooh.
Go on then, Nichol. What are you going for?
3-2 win. 3-2 win.
If it's 3-2, that's going to be so many goals in this fixture. We've got to play them again. Be an all-time record.
We do, don't we? It will be a record. I think I agree with Chris. I think it'll be I think we'll do enough to get them, but I think it'll be a slog of a game. I'm going to go for a 2-1 as well.
Does it go straight to penalties, this?
It will go straight to penalties, yeah. I think there's no extra time. From what
that's
I remember,
also a possibility that we haven't mentioned yet.
It's FA Cup, isn't it? It's FA Cup where it goes to extra time, if I remember right. Doesn't it go straight to penalties with Carabao?
Yeah.
I think it does.
We've already won one shootout in this competition. So,
So haven't they?
We have, yeah. They won the last round on penalties, wasn't it? Yeah, Chef Wed. So I think we'll come through. Well, yeah, the full 90 minutes. 2-1. It's the next one where it's over 2 legs, isn't it? So what we want is a nice away first and then a home second leg if we do get through. So yes, fingers crossed for that. But yeah, I'll go for a 2-1 victory as well. Just to wrap that one up quite nicely. Let us know in the comments below what you think with this one. Do you think it's going to be an easy game, or do you think it's going to be another tough slog against Brentford? They're a decent side. I don't mind Brentford at all. They play some good football. They've got some good players, some players that wouldn't mind us going in for in a certain upcoming transfer window if PSR gets out of the way. We'll see what happens. But anyway, let me know in the comments below what you think your predictions are, and let me know what you think of this game and how you think it's going to go. While you're there, if you want to hit the subscribe button, that'll put our videos in your YouTube feed. And if you hit the little notification bell that appears, you'll get a notification when new videos go live on this channel. If you want to go one step further, you can become a member. It's $2.99 a month. That gets you early access to videos like this one, and you'll get news on players before they become injured, apparently, because you'll get to see the video before the players that are announced that are injured, if you remember, and then afterwards they'll be injured, so it won't matter. But also get access to the Telegram group. I know it didn't. I was rambling there. You'll get access to the Telegram group as well as exclusive access to certain podcasts and videos. You get Canny Chatter as a video. We're doing a live this week, I think, or next week of the Christmas special for Canny Chatter, and you'll get access to other exclusive content as well. Does anybody want to add anything, make some sense before I wrap this one up? You kind of end on that gobbledygook.
I think it's just crucial that it's another performance where you get a good performance and a good result on the back of it. But I think we've got it against Leicester. It's probably the first time this season that we've had it, where you get both hand in hand. Yeah, where the full team clicks and like I think what Andy said about Dubravka, it is a good shout that he needs a decent game. Dubravka, he had absolutely nothing to do against Leicester.
Used his hands once, I think.
Yeah, honestly, he had nothing to do. So it's going to be a good test, and we've all know that he was quite shaky or coming off his line when he was asked to call upon last season. But I like Dubravka, mate. Like I've got confidence in him.
He got a bit of love from the Gallowgate at the weekend as well, which was nice. Not from our end because they don't say anything.
I hope we win the coin toss as well. Bruno needs to buy a book or something on how to win coin tosses, because it's won this season. I think we're in, so it's not the best of stats. I think he's only had one this season. So yeah, let's see what happens there. Excellent. Well, we'll wrap that one up. We will see you till the next one. Thanks, lads, for joining me on your Sunday afternoon. Go and enjoy the Manchester Derby if that's what you're watching, or whatever else is happening. We will see you all in the next one. See you all later. Bye, everyone.
Bye.